as y'all know, we talk to a lot of international doctors, people who are still thinking about coming to the UK, people who are already in the UK, and people who are just thinking about what training should I join next. So sometimes if I have a conversation with some of these people, I'll be like, so yeah, what are you thinking about? What do you want to do? What do you feel like being in, specializing in? And more often than not, I get somebody who just looks at me like, I don't know, I guess I'll be a GP. Well, why? I don't know. I just feel like I just want to be a GP. I mean, right? That's easy. You can be a GP. It's nothing really difficult, especially because there's so many misconceptions about understanding what a GP is. In a lot of people's home countries, what a GP is and what a GP is in the UK are two different things. So I think it's really important for you to understand, why do you want to do something? And what I want to kind of cover in this video is why you shouldn't be a GP. Like, what are the reasons that might be persuading you but aren't necessarily the right reasons? And that's what we're going to get into today.
If this is the first time you're checking out our channel, welcome. Basically what we do is we run a website that's totally free known as roadtok.com, and it will explain the ins and outs about everything related to the United Kingdom and what it takes for you to work as a doctor in the NHS. So if you've not already, please stalk us on all of our social media. Find us on Facebook, find us on Twitter, Instagram, and of course, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe.
Hey guys, Ibreez here. And look, I don't want y'all to take this as GP bashing. I don't want you to take like, oh my god, Ibreez is stepping on my dreams. Rather, I don't want you to become a GP for the wrong reasons. I don't want it to be 10 years down the line, you stop and you're like, oh my god, I actually don't like what I'm doing. And that's not just for GP training, it's for any training program. You have to do it for the right reasons. You have to love what you're doing. Otherwise, why do you get out of bed in the morning? So I think what I've kind of collated here to talk about are some of the reasons I hear people say that I feel like aren't necessarily valid reasons or the best reasons. You should want to do something, anything in life, because that's your passion. That's what you enjoy doing. That's how you want to spend your day to day. It shouldn't be that you're figuring, oh, well, I guess I could do it because, I don't know what else to do. That's not really a good reason. You're not going to be very happy and you're not going to lead a very fulfilling life. You don't want to be stuck in a grind. So, let me talk about the first reason I hear people say they want to be a GP. Don't become a GP if, okay, you think being a GP is easy. How many times I hear people say this, I've lost count. All right, when I say easy, they're like, oh, well, being a GP, you just go to the clinic. You don't have to think about all the patients on the ward and just see a couple of patients, have some coffee, take some breaks, play some golf, and then you go home and that's the end of the day. What? No, that's not what's happening. All right. Yes, of course they have breaks and they try and take those breaks. But realistically, when you think about how most GP surgeries, they're hoping they can see patients within 10 or 15 minutes and in their appointment slot. With the reality of the situation being, it's really hard to tell someone, okay. Shh, your time's up. Leave. I got to see another patient now. You know that it's easier said than done, especially if you've been in a clinic setting yourself. So it's not as simple as just going in, seeing, one or two patients, going to be all casual and getting out. No, you're going to see as many patients as that has been booked in. Potentially then, of course, you got to do your letters. There's things to catch up on. You might have to see if there are junior staff that you have to look after or maybe other partners that you need to help out. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just a casual, well, I will go in my PJs type of job. The second reason, don't become a GP if you think a GP doesn't require any training. And I know this is something that a lot of people have from their home countries where you graduate from medical school and you're considered a GP, you're a general practitioner. Look, it's not like that in the UK. You have to actually undergo a rigorous training program called, wouldn't you know it, GP training, which is currently 3 years long. And within those 3 years, you have to pass Royal College exams that are related to GP training. Of course, within that too, you have to maintain a portfolio. So you're doing hospital medicine, you're doing clinic medicine, and then you're having these kind of checks at different parts, which are part of your ARCP. If everyone's happy, your supervisors are saying, yes, you're on track, you're doing everything you need to do, you finish and you're a GP. So it's not that you just, again, turn up and you can be a GP. This is a really big thing because a lot of times I'll hear IMGs say, oh, that's fine, I'm not really sure what I want to do in the UK. Once I get registration, I'll just be a GP for a little bit and then think about what I want to specialize in. See, the thing is, though, you actually have to complete the training. I get that in a lot of your home countries, you would be a GP just by virtue of graduating, but it's not like that in the UK. You actually have to undergo a formal training process, successfully complete it, and then you'll be considered a GP. The third reason, don't become a GP if you think that as a GP, you just refer to specialists all day. No, you're not a triage service. Yes, while a GP has general knowledge as a generalist and a general physician, they are able to treat and understand patients' needs. So I'm not saying GPs don't refer. Of course, if they look at the protocols or any red flags that come up, if a patient requires a referral, they will refer. But there is a modicum of care that they must undertake as well in the primary healthcare setting. The GPs honestly are like a fence when you think about it, all right? If you didn't have a fence and you had all of this wildlife, dude, you'd just have animals running all over the place because it would be chaos because there's nothing roping them in. But instead, you've got a nice little grid, and if anything needs to go out, they can go out. And if anything needs to come in, it can come in. And it's a nice little flow of traffic. And that's what the GP is there for, to make sure the hospitals don't get overwhelmed, to make sure the primary care service ensures that there's good preventative care, there's quality care in the community. That's what they do. So if you think you can just sit there and be like, oh, you've come in with this, let's just refer you. That's not what's going to happen. The next thing, guys, don't be a GP if you think that GPs don't work hard. A lot of times when I hear international doctors talk about GP training or just GP life, they're like, oh yeah, I don't have to do a night shift, so it's great. Yeah, that's true. I mean, but not all GPs choose that life. There are GPs who work out of hours, who do evenings, who do weekends, who do nights. I'm not saying that you as a GP would necessarily need to do that, but especially for your hospital rotations during GP training, depending on where you're rotating through, you will have night shifts during that time. And then later on in your career as a GP, depending on how you want to set it up, you can have out of hours too. And just because you don't have night shift, again, I want to hark back to what I said before, doesn't mean you're not working hard. You have a lot of patients to deal with anyway, patients that you have to see on a daily basis, appointments to, keep up with. So don't think just because you're not doing a night shift or an out-of-hour shift, you're not working hard, because that's definitely not the case. The next one, do not become a GP because you're like, it's a good fallback. I mean, I'm already 30. I don't want to think about doing any further training. I don't want to really put together a competitive portfolio, even though I want to get into a competitive specialty, and got these exams that I don't really feel like doing. I could just be a GP because, it's a good fallback. There are a lot of GP posts and they need GPs. Don't do this. What do you mean you just want to be a GP because you just don't want to work hard? What did we just talk about? It's not easy. But really, guys, can you just imagine choosing your entire life's career on the basis of, I kind of feel lazy, guys, I don't know. You didn't do med school up until this point to just give up and say, well, I don't know if I can hack it. Of course you can hack it. You got here. How'd you get here if you didn't work hard? The other thing to think about is, just because you think you can't get into your competitive training or you didn't get in for whatever reason and you just feel like your options are running out to get into that training program, there's so many other ways as a doctor in the NHS for you to continue in your role in whatever you're interested in doing. You can do a non-training job. You can become a specialty doctor. You can look for Caesar posts. So you don't have to completely withdraw yourself from your specialty of choice or what you're actually interested in just because you didn't get into that training program. There's so much more out there. The UK is so much more flexible in that regard. So don't think, oh, well, I guess everything else didn't work out for me and the clock's ticking. And what are they going to think about me at home? Might as well just do GP training. No, you want to be happy. You do. You don't want to be bitter the rest of your life thinking, well, I could have been that. Instead, I did this because life. Okay, this last point might be a bit controversial. I thought to myself, should I say it? Should I not say it? I'm going to say it. So don't become a GP if you think it's your only option as a woman. Look, girl to girl, y'all can do whatever you want to do. If you're like, but Ibreez, I don't want to do night shifts. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I get it. You want flexibility. You want to have a home life. Why is it only got to be a girl? I mean, seriously, why is it only got to be the girl? Not only that, did you become a doctor just to, at the very end, think, well, I guess I worked this hard and I got to this point in my life and I'll just do whatever I feel like would be best, but not necessarily what I want to do or what would make me happy. And, there's so many women and so many different specialties that do a lot of out of hours. And does that mean that they don't care about their families or they don't care about their home life? Of course not. There is a lot you can do from your end to talk about less than full-time options, to look at ways that you can make your schedule and your roster more flexible. So don't think you automatically have to choose GP training just because you want to have a family or you want to have a little bit of home life. It's not the way it has to be. You can definitely do any sort of career that you feel like you want to do. And yes, there may be sacrifices along the way, but I've already said in this video, it doesn't mean with GP training you just wake up one day and you've got it like that. There are things that you will have to do then as well. Exams you'll have to study and prepare for. So it's not going to come very easily, but of course the effort that you put in will produce the fruit that you want. And at the end of the day, I think that's the most important thing. And you'll be awesome and successful and be like a role model to other women, to your children as well, to the rest of your family, that look at that girl, killing it, owning it. At least that's how I see it. I don't think you should limit yourself. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you do, or how you've gotten to where you are. If you have goals and you want to achieve those goals, achieve it. The only thing that's stopping you is yourself. I'm going to get off this soapbox, and I'm just going to say, these are my reasons, kind of, why you shouldn't just become a GP, or think that, yeah, well, GP training's the thing for me just because, obscure reason. If you want to be a GP, do it for the right reasons. If you don't want to be a GP, don't be a GP. Simple as that. And if you guys want to discuss this further, or any other options about what your training should look like, you can always book a personalized guidance session with us. But until next time, please continue to follow us on all of our social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We will see y'all next time. Bye.